Hi guys, yes, Money Making Mitch is doing a second video this morning for you guys, only because of some yummy news that just came out yet again. So remember last year it was reported that there's going to be spin-offs in the battery segment, possibly chip, possibly phone. Well, I think NIO is preparing for that. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So what has just happened? NIO makes organizational changes involving Onvo sub-brand. Excuse me guys. NIO has renamed its units previously known as Strategic New Businesses and has created 16 regional companies for the Onvo unit. Yes, the lion killer. NIO today announced its latest organizational restructuring involving its businesses, including sub-brand Onvo, saying it's necessary for businesses and organizational development, according to an internal letter seen by CNEV Post. The electric vehicle maker has renamed a number of its units previously known as Strategic New Businesses. Strategic New Business 1 was renamed the Onvo division. Strategic New Business 2 was renamed Chip Development Unit. Strategic New Business 3 was renamed the Firefly Business Unit. And Strategic New Business 4 was renamed the NIO Phone Business. So I truly believe, and I keep saying this like it was reported on last year, but I believe there's going to be spin-offs as time go by, and you're going to have branch-offs. And we, as shareholders, we will get shares in those companies, guys. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for the battery spin-off, for the battery as a service, our swap stations. That's going to be a continuous flow of revenue coming in and dividends for us. In addition to the name changes, NIO's Strategic New Business Cluster remains unchanged in terms of department heads and reporting lines. And this is not a long video, guys, but I also wanted to touch on this. I spoke about it on my first video this morning. It says, and I want to thank Money Making Melvin for this article. It says, while the US and EU are putting up barriers to Chinese cars, Australians are buying them at record levels. This is why, since last year, I've been saying, when the Australian Prime Minister visited China and spoke about ramping up trade between both countries, China was already their largest trade partner. I said, guys, watch, it's coming. So let me say that again. While the US and EU are putting up barriers to Chinese cars, and when we say the EU, we don't mean the whole EU, right? We already spoke about Germany, Norway, France, etc., and other countries, Hungary, are not going along with those trade barriers. So they say, while the US and EU are putting up barriers to Chinese cars, Australians are buying them at record levels. In short, Chinese-made vehicles have rapidly become the third most popular in Australia, with more Chinese cars launching in 2025. With more Chinese cars launching in 2025, so there'll be I believe it's BYD over there. There will be, and I don't know who else is over there, but I truly believe we're going there, guys. Xpeng, others will be going there. The US has introduced steep tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles to protect its own automotive industry. But that's not protecting. You see, where there's no competition, there will be no innovation and high prices. Europe is also considering tariffs, but Australian auto advocates want to preserve competition. Let me say that again. Europe is also considering tariffs, but Australian auto advocates want to preserve competition. Competition creates innovation. Australia's roads have long been dominated by the auto giants of Japan, Germany, and the United States. And at that time, Australia did not say it's dumping, so why should they say it now? Germany and the United States, but China is fast earning its spot in the garage of glory. I like how the writer put that. This year, vehicles from China became the third most popular choice for new car sales in Australia, knocking South Korea, the home of Kia and Hyundai, down to fourth place, and rapidly gaining ground on manufacturing leaders Thailand and Japan. The rise of Chinese cars in Australia has been meteoric, jumping from 4,154 sales, from 4,154 in 2014, are you guys ready for this? To 193,433 cars last year. And it's likely to keep growing, with models from Chinese giants Guangzhou Automobile Group and Geely Auto set to roll into Australia roads next year. But while Australians are fast falling in love with Chinese cars, some other Western nations are trying to break up. Is the love affair with Chinese cars on the rocks, the writer said? The success of China's auto industry has been met with hostility in the US, with the White House last month quadrupling the border tax on Chinese electric vehicles from 25% to 100% that we spoke about. The tariffs is unabashed attempt to protect America's auto industries from Chinese competition. And Elon had warned them about that with the Chinese, if NIO comes here, that's the end, right? That's what Elon said. However, with NIO coming here and doing partnerships, it will not be the end. And it will give the American auto companies to also get a small piece of the pie, but also give them some incentive to continue to innovate. The tariff is an unabashed attempt to protect America's auto industry from Chinese competition, with President Joe Biden also introducing punitive measures against other Chinese imports, including computer chips, batteries, and steel. So, as we continue to put tariffs, we see the Chinese industry, the chips, we're making our own in-house chips. The God chip is going to be ready next year. So what does that tell you will happen with NVIDIA? What does that tell you will happen with other chips, American chips companies, when China continue to pump a lot of money, as we just seen, into the chip sector to grow their own chip sector? Yes, we will fall behind. Europe, which has its own billion-dollar auto industry to consider, is also wary of Chinese success. And I'm not going to go into the whole article, guys, but it says the Chinese government has spent decades trying to help its flagging auto industry catch up to the giants of Europe, Asia, and the US. And while it failed in the era of petrochemical propulsion, it found success in the age of electric vehicle. And now America and Europe, some of the European unions, are really angry about this and saying, no, we should continue to dump our gas-guzzling cars in your country, but you shouldn't be able to sell your technologically advanced EVs in our country. We'll call that dumping. Marina Zhang from the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia, China Relations Institute said, while substantial industrial policies and financial subsidies has helped the EV industry mature, China also had several competitive advantages. China's EV industry controls a majority of the supply chain. Yes, we made sure and put things in place to dominate. So they often have very short supply chains compared to other EV manufacturers, which are often stretched to several different continents. China's automakers could also leverage the country's existing expertise in battery manufacturing, which further pushed down costs through vertical integration, she said. Professor Zhang said the government's history of supporting the sector has fostered strong domestic competition. And we see over here now the Biden administration is also trying to support the EV sector, with hundreds of EV startups now whittled down to the biggest and the best. Among the top 20 EV manufacturers in the world, half of them are Chinese, and those 10 large ones that dominate the market came out of the competition for sales. Competition, guys. Competition encourages innovation, she said. So I wouldn't say government subsidies or government policies handpicked those winners. No, it wasn't handpicked. They had to prove themselves. It is really the consolidation of the market and the internal competition. Growing consumer awareness, cost competitiveness, technological advances, and a cut in tariffs thanks to the Australia-China Free Trade Agreement are all helping to drive sales of Chinese vehicles on Australia. Much of the growth can be attributed to the rising popularity of EVs, with 72,342 of the 86,000 sold in Australia last year coming from China. And that number is only going to increase. A spokesperson from Australia Federal Chamber of Automotive Industry said increased competition and availability of Chinese-produced vehicles had enhanced consumer choice, something we don't have here in America, allowing Australians to purchase cars that best fit their work, recreation, and family. And you see, NIO has already said it. Wherever we go, we provide a car and does tweaking to that EV based on the landscape and the needs of the people. So FCAI sales data shows that of the almost 200,000 Chinese manufacturers cars sold in Australia last year, a quarter were EV made by US company Tesla, which can produce up to 750,000 a year, but are quickly losing ground. So I'm not going to go into the whole article, guys, but I hope this sheds a little light to show you guys that the companies that continue to innovate through research and development like NIO will continue to steal a market share. The writing is on the wall. And I still say Australia is a market that we're heading to. So I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, please do not forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of work to do these videos and editing. If you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we have that warrior mindset like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.